Okay, so this recording is going to be looking at rounding numbers. So we're going to be looking at rounding at tens for this one, and in my next video I'll look at rounding to hundreds. So once again, this concept kind of comes back to our knowledge and understanding of place value. So if we look at this one, this number here, number 72, we have the 2 that's in the units column and the 7 that's in the tens column. So what we're doing is looking at rounding to the nearest 10, so it's this tens column that we're dealing with. So similarly in this one, we've got 452, we've got the 2 in the units column, the 5 in the tens column, and the 4 in the hundreds column. Then as it gets bigger, same concept, the 3 in the units, 8 in the tens, 9 in the hundreds, and 9 in the thousands. So we're looking at that rounding to the 8, rounding to the 5, and rounding to the 7 in these. So if we're looking at 72 and it's rounding to the nearest 10, what we need to look at is with this number is if it's 5 or greater. I'm going to write that down. 5 or greater, we round up. If it's 4 or lower, we round down. So that is a really key point that we can continue to come back to. So if we have a look at number 72 here, in the units column, we need to be looking at, is it higher, is it 5, or is it lower than 5? So it's actually lower than 5. Because we're rounding to the tens column, our answer would be 70. Because we're rounding down, we'd either be rounding down to 70 or up to 80, because we're looking at this tens column to be the one rounding, but the units column is actually the one that decides on that. Okay, so we'll move on to this one here. Once again, in the units column, it is a 2, so we will be rounding down because 2 is a lower value than 4. It's lower than 4, it's lower than 5. So what we're going to put in there, so nothing changes in the hundreds or the tens column, the units column just drops down. So in this one here, we're looking once again that 3 is actually lower than 5, so nothing changes once again, except in the units column it rounds it off, so it's a nice round figure in the tens column. Now those examples were all fairly similar, so what I might do is actually give a couple of examples where it may not be as basic as what we saw there. So we'll put 465. Once again, we've got hundreds, the 4's in the hundreds column, the 6 is in the 10, and the 5 is in the units column. So 5 is an interesting one because if we get a 5, we actually round up, and this is where you'll see how it actually affects it. So we round up to 470. We go up, so it is a nice round number. Now I'll give just one more example on this. So it might be 6,458. Now because the number in the units column here is an 8 and that is greater than 5, what we're looking at is rounding up. So we're going up to 6,460. So we're rounding off, so we've got tens left in that column. Nice round numbers.